Now I will read Val's introduction. Val has always been intrigued by the night sky, the plenitude of stars and its mysteries. In this research speech, he will share the evolution of our understanding of the universe over the past 500 years. Now please welcome our first speaker, Val. The evolution of the understanding of our universe. Please welcome Val.
Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, have you ever looked at the night sky without the interference of city lights? Please raise your hand if you have. It's a magnificent thing to see, right? The scale, the amplitude, how minuscule we feel compared to it. To me, looking at the night sky, it's a mystical experience. And for this reason, I decided to research how the evolution of our thought of the universe has evolved in the past 500 years. So when you looked at the night sky, have you ever wondered how big it is? How big is the universe? If you have, many cultures have, and many cultures have different answers to it. In Europe, in the 1500s, Nicolas Copernicus made a big breakthrough. Up to that point, it was believed that the Earth was the center of the universe. Copernicus said that no, the sun is, with the Earth and the other planets surround it, and encapsulating the solar system. It was to then be a celestial sphere, a very thin shell where all the stars were hung. So if you can imagine, we're talking here about a finite universe. You know, it's a solar system encapsulated in this celestial sphere. Well, that was great, but in 1573, an event happened. A celestial event happened that shattered that conception. A type 1 supernova, a star explosion that was visible during the daylight for 2 weeks, and during the night for 18 months. So that didn't work anymore with this idea of a fixed universe, right? You have stars appearing and disappearing. What is the answer to that? The Ming Dynasty thought that that was a bad omen. But Thomas Dix, a British astronomer, started challenging Nicolas Copernicus' view of a fixed universe. He proposed that then we're talking here about an infinite universe with an infinite number of stars. That also works well, but think together here with me for a minute. If we're talking about an infinite universe with an infinite number of stars, how come it is dark at night? Because during the night sky, each direction that you look at, you should be able to see a star, right? So we should be talking about a very bright sky. That's not the case. The answer to that question really didn't come until 1923. So during the 17 and 1800s, astronomers were really trying to understand better our solar system. This was the entirety of the universe. But then in the late 1800s, another British astronomer, William Herschel, who was very good with metal glasses. Up to that point, astronomers used glass telescopes, which are not as good as metal glasses. Mr. Herschel was very patient. He would spend 16 hours grinding and polishing his mirrors, and he was able to see beyond the solar system. He started seeing these cosmic bodies called nebulae. You know, he was able to see far beyond what other astronomers had seen before, expanding our vision of what there is. He was able to catalog 5,000 nebulae. He was the first one who saw the planet Uranus. And during the day, he was there polishing his mirrors. At night, he was cataloging stars, nebulae, and not the celestial bodies. By doing that, he was able to conceive the first picture of the Milky Way. And we're talking about the late 1700s, early 1800s. It's impressive. You know, his work really carried all the way to the early 1900s. We're talking here about 1920s. Up to that point, astronomers didn't know if the universe was the Milky Way or if there was something beyond. We're not able to measure the distance between stars at that point. So we're not able to tell if the nebulae that Mr. Herschel was seeing was within the Milky Way or beyond. So that understanding really didn't come until 1923, when Edwin Hubble, here at the Mount Wilson Observatory in Pasadena, so we're talking about 70 miles from us, he was able to unlock that. He was able to unlock the secret of the universe. With the telescope in Pasadena, he was able to see that the Andromeda Nebulae that William Herschel saw over 100 years earlier was actually outside of the Milky Way by many light years. And by doing that, he demonstrated physically to the whole scientific community that the Milky Way was only one of many galaxies. Remember that question earlier, why is the sky dark at night if we're talking about an infinite universe? Well, Hubble also observed a phenomenon called redshift. You see, as light moves away from us or objects, waves get stretched. And as they get stretched, they move into the red part of the optical spectrum. As objects move closer, waves get compressed and they move to the blue side of the optical spectrum. Hubble observed that all distant galaxies were in the red zone of the optical spectrum, meaning that the universe is expanding. Think with me for a second. So if we're talking about a universe that is expanding, the light of those distant stars have not yet had time to reach us. And that's why the sky is dark at night, because the light from these distant stars don't reach us as the universe expands. So it's fantastic. Right now, we don't know what is beyond the observable universe. We don't know if, we talk about an expanding universe, so does it end at a certain point, or is it truly infinite? We don't know. And I'm excited to see what's going to come in the next few decades in this area. I wanted to share with you. So during my research, I came across an online exhibit, something that you can access on the internet by the Linda Hall Library of Science in Kansas. It's called Thinking Outside of the Sphere. So think about Copernicus' initial sphere, right? So we're thinking beyond that. And in there, you can see the Milky Way map drawn by Herschel that I alluded to before, how Copernicus saw the solar system and the universe, and where we are right now. Also, the Mount Wilson Observatory, it's only 70 miles from us. It has the largest telescopes in the world that are accessible to the public. So they encourage a field visit. And also, there's a documentary on Amazon called Everything and Nothing: The Amazing Science of Empty Spaces by Magellan TV. It's a great documentary. I encourage you to see it. It was a pleasure doing this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.